Hello, my wonderful, fabulous, amazing fourth graders. Welcome back. So if you're just tuning into this video, we are going to go ahead and read some more of Blended. Maybe you either weren't at school the last 2 days, so you just watched the first video, or you were at school the last 2 days, I guess really just yesterday. And so you heard the first 3 chapters at school, so you're tuning in for the first time now to listen to a little bit more. So just to kind of recap, we read the first 3 chapters. We learned that our main character's name is Isabella. We learned that Isabella is biracial. Her mom is white and her dad is black. And we learned that her parents are separating. Her dad is moving to California, and Isabella seems like she's going to be staying in Ohio with her mom. And another thing that we learned about Isabella is her love for music, that she plays the piano. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you have questions or anything like that throughout the story, go ahead and just leave comments on the videos, and I will try to respond back to you with some responses. Okay. Chapter 4. At first, the word divorce. What happened to my fire? Get back here. Okay, now we can resume. Anyway, chapter 4. At first, the word divorce scared me. It was like our family had come down with a horrible, incurable disease or something. Like that Kool-Aid pitcher we were shattered. And my parents just couldn't fix whatever was wrong. I was stupid sad after Dad left. I looked at a map of the United States at school. The distance from Ohio to California was so huge. He could have been on another planet. It would take 3 days just to drive there. But even if he had just moved across town, he was gone from me. I couldn't see him or sit in his lap when I wanted to or needed to. He never minded, and never mind what he said. Deep inside, I did feel like this was partly my fault. I'd messed up a lot. The Kool-Aid, the cupcakes. Then there was the time they'd given me a necklace after my first piano recital. It was a shiny musical note on a silver chain. Mom had warned me not to wear my necklace to soccer practice, but I didn't listen. It fell off on the field somewhere and I couldn't find it. They said they were disappointed in me. That made my stomach hurt. So yeah, I really was one big frustration. During those first few weeks after Dad left, I spent the days walking around what was now the house for just me and Mom, touching all the Dad's places. The green kitchen chair, the one that didn't wobble. The empty bathroom shelf where he used to keep his aftershave that smelled like peppermint patties. The old pottery ashtray where he used to toss his car keys. After dinner, I would carefully wash his favorite plate, the blue ceramic one, even though it hadn't been used, just so it wouldn't get dusty. I put it back in the cupboard next to the big red bowling plate he'd won a couple of years ago. I don't know why he didn't take those when he moved out, but I was glad that they were still there, because maybe that meant he might come back, right? Plus, Mom's place was just so quiet all the time. So I hauled out my piano again and again just to make some noise. When my parents finally got official custody papers with legal instructions from a judge, I guess that sealed everything. We were no longer a whole, but 3 separate pieces. A mom, a dad, and a kid sliced in half. Actually, that made us 4 pieces because I have to be 2 people. Mom's Izzy and Dad's Isabella. But even though I got to go to the beach whenever I visited him, and even though Dad's California house was awesome, the big old Steinway piano he got just for me. I always felt like a visitor, which I was. I only visited him. Daddy wasn't home. But I got used to it. I mean, what choice did I have? The system worked, basically, until last year, when Dad decided to move again. And suddenly, he moved just across town. And now that he's once again living in the same city as I do, the custody rules have changed. It took a little getting used to. Okay, truth? It took a lot of getting used to. Wow, so that's interesting. So we found out that Isabella's dad moved to California, and she never really felt like him being in California was a home for her, right? It looks like I'm on fire. This is funny. Okay, anyway, she never felt like where he was in California was her home as well. She said, I just felt like a visitor. It was always, she's going to visit her father. She's going to visit her dad. And so it sounds like Dad maybe wasn't too happy with that agreement as well, because he decided to move back. So now he's living in the same town as Isabella in Ohio, just across town. And so their custody agreement, which is the agreement that the judge gives their family based on like how much Izzy will spend time with her mom and how much she'll spend time with her dad. So if it's like they have to, take turns every Christmas or birthdays or summer break or whatever, right? So now, since they're in the same town, their custody agreement's going to change a little bit because Dad's around more. So she can see Dad more, right? So maybe it'll be like Monday through Wednesday she's with Mom, then the weekend she's with Dad, and then they swap. We have to find out, right? But she said it took a lot of getting used to, so it sounds like some big changes are coming. Chapter 5. Dad lives in a really nice house now that he's back. I mean, ridiculously nice. The kind of house you see on TV about movie stars. It was a ritzy suburb just outside of town. And Mom still lives in the small house that we all used to share. It's crisp and clean and usually smells like the candle fragrance that she bought this week. Last week she was burning a lavender lime, a purple-green swirled combination. It actually smelled really good. She got it at Target. I wish I'd been with her. But unless we're doing a custody exchange, it's never the three of us together anymore. It probably never will be again. When Dad moved back and he and Mom went to court so a new custody agreement could be worked out, I was not allowed to go. Excuse me, but I think I should have some say in it, especially since the whole thing's about me anyway. But I didn't. Right before the court date, I spent one whole Saturday night on my laptop researching custody laws in Ohio. Mom is my legal guardian because she's like my mom, but she and Dad have shared custody of me, which means they have to take turns. But I have no legal right to choose. That's a real phrase from a custody article I looked up. It makes me feel pretty small. Some judge who never met me before got to decide to just split me in half. Like that's even humanly possible. So I live with Dad and Anastasia, Dad's lady friend, as he calls her, and her son Darren, 1 week. And then every Sunday at exactly 3 p.m. in front of the Apple store at the mall, I'm exchanged like a wrong size pair of jeans. And I live with Mom and her boyfriend, John Mark, the next week. Yeah, they love me and all that, but it doesn't stop them from slicing my life, slicing it in half every 7 days. And then they act like it's normal or something. Every Monday, I wake up in a different bed than the one I slept in the week before. I hate that. Birds make nests in trees, right? one nest, one treat. Who ever heard of a robin moving her eggs every week to a new treat? That would be crazy, right? Yep, crazy. Welcome to my life. How do you think she's dealing with this? Well, which who could blame her, right? Her whole life is changing. She feels split in half, like she has to be two different people. Chapter 6. So now she starts labeling them, like whose house she's at for the week. So chapter 6, Mom's week. So she's at Mom's house. John Mark Metzger has been around longer than the other 6 guys Mom sorta dated, whose names I choose not to remember. Before I got to know him, I used to call him simply Number 7, but not to his face. After a couple of years, it was clear that he and Mom really liked each other. And I can tell he really likes me. He's honest, he's polite. He likes crunchy peanut butter and apricot jelly. Never great, just like I do. Mom smiles, sometimes even giggles when she's around him. And I can see a little of the tired, pinched look leave her face when he comes into a room. I like that he makes her happy. But he's a redneck. I don't mean that in a negative way, but he seriously has a sunburned red neck. He keeps sunblock on the kitchen counter and slathers it on each morning before he leaves the house. He keeps his hair short, so there really is no protection for his poor neck. I never met a person who really had skin like that. One of those people who just fry at the beach. Honest. He's the only guy I know who cooks like a Pop-Tart in the sun. But he's pretty cool. That's funny. I like that. He laughs a lot. He loves to sing. He blushes a lot. He's a little overweight. And I've never, ever seen him in a bad mood. He's got dozens of interesting tattoos. It's fun to read his arms during the summer when he wears short sleeve shirts. When he gets in his truck, he turns the country western station up as loud as it will go. And then he sings along with white folk songs like Willie Nelson and Garth Brooks. He says he likes the oldies, whatever that means. He really likes my mom. Chapter 7, Exchange Day. So it must be Sunday, right? Because exchange means to swap, right? Or to switch. So if it's Exchange Day, she's swapping places. It's Sunday. I hate Sundays. I hate them. Even when I'm a wrinkled old lady, Sundays will always remind me of a worn gray fake leather sofa at the mall. It's where Dad sits to wait for me when it's his turn for custody for the week. Mom waits on the same couch on the opposite week. The stupid sofa never changes, just the faces of the grown-ups that come to claim me. I'm pretty sure my parents hate Sundays too. Today, Dad waits stiffly, tapping his fingers like he can't relax until this is over. Probably true. He's never late. Anastasia sits beside him. She, at least, is smiling. Her shoes and purse are probably real leather. Very fancy looking. She's dressed in an amber tone wool suit that's almost the same color she is. Probably took her hours to do her face and hair. I touch the frizzy frizz, I call mine. It's pushed out of the scrunchie again. And today I break into a wide smile as Mom and I approach them because Anastasia's son, Darren, has come with them. He is, well, not to sound like a fangirl, but he's totally cool. He knows how to dress so he looks really sharp without looking like he worked at it. And he's got a gravelly sounding voice that makes my friends get all kind of silly. Sounds like her friends have a crush on him. I glance back guiltily at Mom, who is pale and tired. trying to escape a stain off of her Waffle House uniform with her fingernail. John Mark, in his favorite blue bowling shirt, walks on the other side of me. They're speed walking because we're late. Again. I wonder if other people are watching us, like we're some kind of reality TV show. The caption would read, "Chocolate family meets vanilla family in the artificial reality that is a mall. Caramel daughter caught helplessly between the two." When we get to the sofa, Mom simply nods curtly at my father and Anastasia. She gives me a forehead kiss, then turns and hurries away with John Mark. Dad nods as well. No need to exchange words, they just exchange me. They've got that head nodding thing down to a science. Now he hops up and I step into his outstretched arms. "What's up, my Bella Isabella?" He smooths my hair. He's been calling me that since I was little. It's from a picture book that I used to make him read to me over and over. I couldn't believe that someone had written about a girl, a warrior princess, with my name. I still have that book. "I'm great, Daddy," I tell him, and then I quickly let go and I grab Darren's arm. "I'm so glad you came today. What's up?" "I decided to witness the exchanging of the captive," he teases, grabbing my backpack and slinging it over his shoulder. "Besides, I had to get my phone fixed." "How's Alicia?" I ask, my turn to tease. "I hardly saw you the last time I was there." "If you must know," he said, poking me in the arm, "Alicia is so yesterday. I'm working up the courage to ask Monique to the dance next week. I bet she's checking her phone every hour in case you text her." "Maybe," he says, his voice a mystery. "Still living up there on the honor roll? Is there anywhere else?" He rolls his eyes. "How's Miss Pearson at the homeless shelter?" "Still passing out mashed potatoes, blankets, and goodie bags." "I got some of those little lotion and shampoo bottles in my bag for her," I tell him. "I saw them at CVS on sale for 50 cents each the other day. So I bought a bunch to help Miss Pearson out." "You're the best, Izzy." "I know." I tell him as I play punch him on his side. So here's the scoop on Darren. He's totally awesome. In addition to volunteering at the homeless shelter, he gets grades that land him on the honor roll every quarter. He runs the fastest 100-meter dash on the track team. He's got a boatload of colleges writing him letters, asking him to consider their university. The colleges, they are asking him. Yeah, pretty impressive. Best thing, he buys me ice cream every time I ask, even if it's before dinner. Like I said, he's the total package. I go to Anastasia next and give her a hug as well. She's a good hugger. It feels real, not fake. She smells like this fancy fresh perfume that is a tongue twister. Fancy fresh perfume that I really like. "So good to see you, Isabella," she murmurs. "I've missed you." And she means it. I skipped a page. Oh. I think that's the end of the chapter. I'm shocked it reads like that. Okay. Well, I'm going to pause here because I don't like to make these videos go longer than 20 minutes, and we're at 19 minutes. So let me just reread that last little part because I was confused. Okay, so she says, "I go to Anastasia next and I give her a big hug. She's a good hugger. It feels real, not fake. She smells like this fancy French perfume that I've learned to really like." "It's so good to see you again, Isabella," she murmurs. "I've missed you." And she means it. Okay, now we're going to stop there. I want to reread this one part that she said that I thought was really interesting. So keep in mind, Isabella's like about your age. I think she's in 5th or 6th grade. And she's very in tune with her identity, which is very interesting at like such a young age to think about, okay? And a lot of us, I feel like in our classroom, we've had these discussions before and are in tune with our identities as well. But the way she explains how she looks and how it makes her feel is really interesting. So let me just read this part again. So I'm going back to the start of the Exchange Day chapter 7. She says, I wonder if other people are watching us. And that's something that she thinks about a lot, she said earlier, right? Because she feels like people look at her and try to figure out what the situation is, right? Like if she's just with her mom's white, and she's clearly biracial. So I'm sure she feels those stares from other people being like, trying to figure out what the situation is here, right? And then when she's with her dad, she kind of described him as cocoa brown, she said earlier. So he's darker skinned because he's African American. And she said she's a lighter complexion because she's biracial. So I'm sure then in the contrary, when she's with him, same thing. People are kind of maybe trying to figure out the situation. Like, is that his daughter? She's lighter skinned. What's going on here? So she's very in tune with the way other people look at her, as well as, you know, how she's perceiving herself, because it confuses her too. Am I black or am I white? Okay, so she says, I wonder if other people are watching us like we're some kind of reality TV show. The caption would read, Chocolate Family meets Vanilla Family in the artificial reality that is a mall. Caramel daughter caught helplessly between the two. Very interesting how she uses like the types of ice cream almost, right? She uses like types of ice cream to explain how she visualizes her family, how she visualizes her mom, her dad, and herself, which is really, really interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it there. Like I said, I don't want to make these videos too long. I hope you guys enjoyed these next few chapters. We learned a few more characters. It sounds like her dad is kind of living more of a lavish life in Ohio. She said they have like this nice fancy home. He's got his new wife. She has her stepbrother Darren, who seems like the golden child, right? And then she describes her mom, who's still like in this small house. She said she works at the Waffle House. She's dating a redneck, right? Like, you don't mean he's an actual redneck, but he has a red neck. I've never seen someone deal with sunburn because they're so pale. So you're seeing just the difference between the two families that probably make her feel even more split half and half than she would have ever before. All right, so if you have questions or comments, feel free to drop them. I'm going to film a couple more, and maybe I'll post one more today and then maybe save the rest should we not be back in class together tomorrow or remote learning together tomorrow. All right, fourth graders, peace out.